Hello, my loyal listeners. So happy to be here to have a conversation with a good friend of mine, our guest, Robyn Adams. She is the owner of the Salt Suite, which is in Lakewood off of State Road 7. But hello, first of all, let's say hello. Hi, Robyn.
Hi, Marie. How are you? It's good to
Good.
see you.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here.
Thanks for
So,
the opportunity.
yeah, well, I like to talk about a variety of things on my show, and people tell me that they enjoy that. So I thought, let's talk about salt therapy, which is also known to be called halotherapy, I believe.
Right.
Yeah,
Halotherapy. Uh-huh.
yeah. And I know it involves microscopic salt particles in a controlled environment. And I've actually done Robyn's salt sweet therapy a few times, and it was wonderful because it helps with my respiratory condition, which you can hear in my voice. So, Robyn, these salt particles, they are anti-inflammatory.
Uh-huh. They're anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and antimicrobial. There was also a recent study out of Edinburgh, Scotland, that they're also antiviral.
Ooh.
So as you breathe it in, it acts like a detox in your system.
Ooh.
And you're breathing in. Halotherapy was first developed actually it was not developed, but it was discovered in the 1800s. And in the 1800s, doctors were seeing salt miners who mined the salt in the caves in Russia were not getting sick. And their skin was fantastic because salt also is really good for your skin. And so out of that was the first salt cave in under the ground in the 1900s. So it was
Wow.
very interesting. And as it was more accepted, it expanded through the rest of the world. When Russia fell, and then it opened up, and we were able to find out these things. So in the 1900s, 1960s, they started opening up in across the rest of the world.
Boy, that's interesting. So how does it work exactly? The
Well,
salt
we have a
part?
little machine called a halo generator, and what it does is it grinds up the particles. It's pharmaceutical grade salt. So it grinds it up into little nanoparticles of salt. So as you breathe it in the salt room, it acts like a detox in your system. It gets it because it's so little, it gets into all the cells, it gets into the lungs, and it acts like a scrub brush, like a toothbrush, and it brings out things that shouldn't be in there. Because what it does is that it brings moisture to it, and then it brings it out. So people may cough more, which is also a side effect, but it's a good side effect because it's bringing up the mucus and thinning it out and
Oh,
also decreasing the inflammation and the swelling that's in the lungs and the airways.
and is it safe for everyone? Everyone use it?
It's it's safe for everyone. However, if you do have a chronic condition, it's always best to check with your doctor. We've had people in babies as young as 2 weeks that the doctor had referred us to, or people as old as 99. So it's if you're worried about something, it's safe for high blood pressure, it's safe for things that people don't think it's safe for. But if you're worried, you need to check it out with your own doctor. It's always good to do that. It's prudent.
Oh, yeah, I have been there when children have been there, and you have an awesome playroom for them.
We do. We have a TV, we have toys, we have recliner chairs for the moms or dads or grandparents. And as the children play, they also get to heal. So it stirs up the salt. The parents are getting it, the grandparents, the elders,
Oh, that's
as
wonderful.
well as the children, because not only is it good for their allergies and asthma, but it's also good for their immune system.
So I didn't realize salt therapy is also performed in that playroom. Well, that's fabulous.
Yes,
Because it's hard.
there's
Yeah.
a halo generator that kicks in to that room, and
Uh-huh.
there's one that goes into the adult room.
Because it's hard to have children sit still. So,
We don't want them to sit still. We want them to play and have fun.
yes,
And,
yes.
and it's pretty salty in there because they're stirring everything up. So it's a real good treatment.
Yeah. And breathing this reminds me of like back in the day, before my time, for tuberculosis, they used to say salt air. They would
Right.
send them to the seashore to get salt air. So sea salt, but that's it. Salt has always been there, but we have not realized its potential until like the last century, let's say,
Right. And
right?
then also the seashore is really good. However, the difference between the going to the seashore and going in a salt room is the salt room is completely negative ions. Okay, right away, that's very relaxing.
Mhm.
Additionally, it's dry salt, it's not wet salt. So wet salt already has moisture in it, so it's not as effective as the dry salt that can get more moisture in it to expel it
Mm,
from the body.
interesting. So are there any side effects ever with some people?
Just
With-
coughing,
Yeah.
and loosening the mucus. If you have a little owie, like the kids, if they have a little owie, it could burn the owie. And so we have Band-Aids that are available that because when you go into the salt and you have an owie,
Yeah.
because salt is also a sterilizer, when we
Yeah.
put salt
Mhm.
on.
Mhm.
Um, Having said that, I don't really know. We haven't had any side effects really, except people coughing more.
Which is at the moment of having treatment. I've had it happen myself, and that is
Uh-huh.
because you are loosening up some mucus and it
Right,
wants to get out of your body, so your body coughs. I
right.
get that.
Hmm.
I'm taking a break from salt therapy only because I have a nodule on my vocal cords and some things going on where my ENT wants me to resolve that first. And then I'm coming right back because
Okay.
I've had it a few times and it really is helpful. How about this? Athletes. I have a grandson that's quite the athlete, quite the baseball player. So how can salt therapy help an athlete like increase his endurance,
Well,
performance?
once again, you're breathing in the salt therapy, and it's opening up the airways, and it's also getting bacteria out of the blood and the airways. So what happens is that you're able to get more oxygen through your system because the blood is circulating better. And as we know, blood brings oxygen to the body. And therefore, with the anti-inflammatory effects and the detoxing of the bacteria, things flow more freely and you can open up your airways. So not only do we have athletes, but we have opera singers
Oh,
because of the increase in respiratory volume, improved oxygen levels, improved cardiovascular performance, as well as decreased heart rate and breathing rate.
oh. And it's fascinating. As a person that has a lot of stress in her life right now,
Mhm.
it can help reduce stress. And how does that work?
Well, for going into it's great for stress, okay?
Yeah.
And actually, it's something that we want to focus on so much more because so many people have stress in this day and age. So when you walk into the salt suite itself, the cave, it's a salt cave, you're right away going into a negative ion room. And as we know, negative ion gets rid of free radicals. And then it also is a very calming atmosphere energetically. And as you breathe in the salt, there's a biochemical reaction in the body and it starts creating serotonin. So as you're breathing in the salt, not only are you relaxing and you're detoxing, but you're getting the serotonin relaxing in the brain after about 10 minutes, and you go into a deep state of relaxation.
Wow. And
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I take antidepressants, so there's another reason for me that I have to come back. I can
And
use some.
also the other thing too is that it's supporting the immune system. So when it's like a feel good effect, when you feel good, when your immune system's good, you feel good, and so you come out feeling good from the salt room, feeling good, feeling relaxed. Some people are energized, some people are tired. So it just depends. After kids come out, it's a great time to take them home and have a nap because they sleep really well,
Oh,
and they also poop.
well,
Because it's a detox.
That's
It's
good
a,
to know.
yeah, right?
So what I will say is the actual experience of your salt suite is very relaxing. When I've been there, yeah, there's a beautiful chair for me to sit in, a recliner, light chair,
Uh-huh.
and you're given headphones if you want, which you can have a meditation or music, or you could just want silence, which I find lovely to have that choice. And I usually take the meditation one. That I like that because now I'm relaxed. I'm getting the salt therapy, my meditation. It's really a great moment for me.
Well,
So,
the meditations we offer you, particularly people who have issues. There are different meditations. It's breathing meditations with this wonderful woman, Raj Cousteau. And one is for allergies, one's for COPD, one's for stress, one's for chakra healing. They're all different kinds depending upon which one you want. And so it's really beautiful. And the point of it for us is we like people to do them because then it gets the salt deep in and into the body. And then after the breathing, it goes into really lovely music.
mhm.
But then we also have on the iPods themselves, we have rock music, we've got 70s music, we've got Broadway music. So it depends on what people want to put on for themselves
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah, it's great. I love it. And the one time you had an event where you had, I don't know if I want to call her a healer or a light worker, but we signed up for that. That was a few years back, maybe
Mhm.
3. And she asked permission ahead of time if we were okay being touched, which I said yes, because I believe in the healing power of touch.
Uh-huh.
And when we went into our sequence with the salt, and she talked to us um, in a meditative way, let's call it, and went to each person and like lightly touched your hand. Robyn, that was fabulous.
Mhm.
That was fabulous. Do you remember her name?
Yeah, her name was Adrian. She moved out to the West Coast, but
Oh,
we, but of California.
yeah.
But we have those. We have bowl healings all the time. Maybe once every couple of months we have bowl healings, and not with her, but with some a few other people actually. And
So you're talking about the singing bowls or
yeah,
the
the singing bowls. The
bowl?
Tibetan singing bowls. We use the glass ones,
Uh-huh.
so not the metal ones for the most part.
My one niece does that. She has
Mhm.
she just started a business. I forget what it's called, Vital Essence or something, but that's what she does. She has classes and she has the bowls and they do yoga.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Up north or
yeah,
down here?
Pennsylvania, up in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. So yeah, and she is on the web, so I'm gonna check her out and do one of her classes on the web.
That's lovely.
Yeah. So what different conditions and ailments do you think can be alleviated by this salt therapy?
Well, there's a number of them, a plethora. Asthma. People have gotten off their asthma medication, which is amazing. Children don't have to take asthma medication, which we know is very corrosive to their teeth and very bad for their bodies. So once they get into the rhythm of it, it's amazing. They could be weaned off of it. Vinny, my husband, hasn't taken asthma medication since we bought the store. So, because he's asthmatic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's great.
Also, coughs, chronic coughs, particularly COVID cough. It can help get rid of COVID cough and restore people back to their natural way of breathing. Sinusitis, which is how I came. And I think you and I had talked about that. I was a group honor and was there, and it changed my life so much that after 6 weeks, I got off all medication and I had my energy, and I said, I've got to come out of retirement and bring this to the public.
Oh, well,
So,
that was so great of you to do that. That's wonderful to share what you learned and what you know is helpful to other people.
absolutely.
That's
And it
great.
also can help COPD, bronchitis, stress, ear infections. The good thing about the ear infections for the children as they play, it gets in their ears and it cleans out the bacteria. So that's great. And it's also great for allergies, and it's great for eczema because it tones down the body and the inflammation. And people have had miraculous results. However, you have to come. So it's not going to be a
It's
one time and done.
yeah, you
You
have to
know,
come on a consistent,
you do. You have to be
make a
consistent.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like being at the gym. You have to work out
Yeah, and you
to
just
see
don't
the
go once a
results.
year.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
then we also work with the Cystic Fibrosis Society because
Oh,
it's good for
that's
kids with cystic
fascinating.
fibrosis. Mhm.
That's fascinating. And have you had any CF people lately?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah?
Uh-huh. A few. And it's just very helpful for them because we know that cystic fibrosis is so debilitating and can be and it's life threatening, you
Yes, it
know.
is.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And whatever relief they get is a gift, whatever.
Particularly with also COPD, we've had people who do come consistently and they get off their oxygen. Go figure, but you have to come.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm sleeping with oxygen right now because of my problems that I'm going through. But I'm in a weird place right now. I'm in limbo because we're still identifying things and working in a certain way. But
Mhm.
I know that your salt therapy is absolutely going to be part of my treatment plan.
Lovely. Okay.
Since we get these other things out of the way, which I'm diligently tracking down. Um, what should now I know what to wear, but tell our listeners if they were going to go, they made an appointment, what should they wear
Well,
to?
we're comfortable clothes. Okay. I dissuade people from wearing black because you get pretty salty. However, you can wear black because we have brushes to brush yourself off. Um, no scents. We're a scent-free facility because people have allergies to perfumes. So we ask people to refrain from wearing scents. If you tend to get a little chilly, before COVID, we used to give out blankets, but now we don't because of germs and so forth.
Yeah, I
And
will bring my own next time.
yeah, and we sell blankets.
Too.
So
Okay.
in case people forget, and because it can get a little chilly, and even though it doesn't get chilly, when you relax, really, your body gets a little colder. So it's good to bring a blanket.
I tend to be cold, and so I had been there last week, and I hadn't been in a while because of these other problems. And I'm like, "Where's the blanket?" And yeah, then he told me about the whole COVID, and it made total sense. And he said, "But you can bring your own." And I said, "Well,
Uh-huh.
that's good." And I know you have to wear socks.
Oh yeah, you have to wear socks
Yeah.
and wear comfy clothing. Like people come in jeans, people come in leggings, people come in shorts. We have people who have eczema who come in bathing suits, so you can do that.
All over their body.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You mentioned eczema. How about psoriasis?
Psoriasis as
Same
well.
thing?
Yep.
Wow, terrific.
And it's amazing how many children now these days have eczema.
And you gotta
It's
wonder about it.
I know, it's unbelievable,
I
right? How
wonder,
many?
is it environmental? Is it stress induced because of the world today? Like you gotta, because some of these skin conditions are stress related.
Absolutely.
So
I
you,
think, I mean, I'm with you. Like, why? Is it environmental? Is it maybe the food we eat, right? So maybe it's what the air that we're breathing.
yeah,
It's very interesting. And a lot of these people who come in, they're holistic moms, so they're feeding their children. Some of these kids have never had fast food. It's amazing. And they still have it. So eczema is just an enigma, I guess.
yeah. The Sjogren's I have is too. It's like they don't know what causes it. It could be genetic, they even
Right.
said, but you know, um, the body is a mystery. The body, even though there's not a lot of research and knowledge gained about the body, of course, there's still some things that are a mystery,
Right.
to doctors. So I always have thought of working outside the lines, like doing other things, like I've done acupuncture and, Reiki and meditation and things that I think go deeper into your environment in your body. That's how I feel about your salt therapy. I just think that is it an hour that you're in there?
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
It goes fast. It goes fast. It really does.
I think also someone just said, I don't know who said it to me, but allow the body to heal itself. The body has incredible capabilities to heal itself, right? And so I think salt is an important part of that because it relaxes you and it gets you, it's anti-inflammatory. And we know so much of disease is inflammation, right? So I think it's a good practice to have to help the body heal itself.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I have been saying to some of the medical guests on my show that my theory is that stress causes inflammation and inflammation causes disease. And they agree. They agree. So yeah, so if you can get rid of that stress, which is like the first pillar, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
And I'm a cancer survivor, as you are. And so it's like I really see how that stress created the environment for things to take root in my system. So
Robyn, I've done a lot of research on the Sjogren's, of course, and one of the things I read, talking about breast cancer, is that sometimes people with Sjogren's develop breast cancer. So I just got done having a conversation with my husband that I have to not be resentful, that like maybe 10 years ago, if they figured out I had Sjogren's and put me on the right medication, I wouldn't have got breast cancer. But that's not necessarily true.
That's interesting.
But it's what popped into my head.
Yeah.
However, my mother had breast cancer, so mine is probably genetic, and the Sjogren's could have helped it along, but I don't think it caused it necessarily. Which I want to bring up, and I'm sure I know you well, so I know this is true. You have to be your own advocate when it comes to your body.
Yes,
and
I
know
agree.
you've experienced that. And I had a problem. I was filling with fluid in my upper abdomen section after the breast cancer and the mastectomy and all that was done. And I kept saying, this isn't right. This isn't right. I have lymphedema in my right arm, but I don't think I should have fluid here. And I'm having an echo for some reason. I don't know what. Just ignore the echo if you hear it. And so I went to a doctor and he said, I will drain. It is water. It is fluid. It's not fat. It is fluid. And I'm going to take it out. And he had the syringe tube. It was big. It was big. The needle wasn't that big, but that tube held a lot.
Yeah.
He took 4 tubes of fluid out of my
Wow.
And when I told my plastic surgeon about it, my plastic surgeon had read my first book, Raised by Wolves, Trapped by Demons, and I had a really crazy life. And I gave all my doctors my book, especially my psychotherapist, because now she knows all about me. She doesn't even have to ask me, but how was your childhood? I go to page 4. Anyway, so I go to the plastic surgeon, and he had known about the fluid, and he saw it happen, and he says, you might be crazy, but you know your body. And I didn't take that as an insult. I knew what he was talking about. He was talking about how crazy I was in my younger life. But truth, guess what? We all know our body if we
Right, if we listen.
listen to the body,
Mhm.
which most people do not, unfortunately. So how often do you think someone like myself, once I get clearance to go back, how often do you think I should do the salt therapy?
Well, it depends on what you want it for. Okay, so for instance, if someone has stress in their lives,
Mhm.
once a week is fine if they
Yeah.
just want to deal with stress. If you want to deal with a chronic, like for instance, for me, when I had the really active sinusitis,
Mhm.
uh, 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week. But now I can go once a week, once every other week. So it's something that it's like you hit it hard and then you can back down. With children, it's really good to come 2, 3 times a week because they're in school and they've got all those germs, that they're bringing home to their parents and getting sick. And we have people who've come to our salt suite religiously and did not get COVID. Okay. And they're immune compromised and they have bronchitis and so
Yeah.
forth, but because of coming in and clearing out the bacteria. So it really depends. The most labor intensive is the eczema and the psoriasis. That should be like 4 to 5 times a week. But other than that, you can do it 2 to 3 times for any kind of ailment. If you want to get rid of it really quick, you come in more frequently. You know,
I make sure my physical therapist watches this episode because she's having suddenly, she's a young woman, um, eczema on her neck in different places. And she's been dealing with it, she's gone to a couple dermatologists. And I'm gonna tell her about this. She'll find this very interesting, and she watches what she eats and everything. But
yeah, it's very amazing for eczema. We also sell a cream from the Dead Sea, which is
oh,
incredible. We sell products from the Dead Sea. And
oh,
it's incredible for eczema and psoriasis. And putting it on before or after you go in the salt room, and it clears it up. It's amazing with the combination of the two. I mean, we've had children who cry going in. If you have a child who has really active eczema, when you come for the first time, we tell them to wear long sleeves and long pants, okay, until their body gets used to the salt. But we've had kids who have it all over their body and it's gone. It's amazing. Or someone who used to work for us, Kaylee, she had terrible skin and her skin is perfect now. So but you have to come.
I wonder.
I keep stressing that because people come and they go, well, it's not working. Well, how many times did you come? Oh, I came twice. Well, I don't get a muscle if I go to the gym for 2 times, but I
No.
do because I've been working out for 6 months, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I know people are impatient. They're
Right.
impatient. They want a
Right.
magic instant cure. So how about rosacea? I wonder if it would help that.
Well, because it's anti-inflammatory, it helps with the rest. It tones things down. So it could calm down the rosacea, and also the cream that we have helps with rosacea.
And
Okay,
that's from the Dead Salt
from the
Sea.
Dead Sea. It's mindful minerals we sell, and it's from
Yeah.
Jordan. The person who is the biochemist who developed it is here, and she married a guy from Jordan, and they're brilliant, and yeah. So and it's amazing, and it has nothing bad in it. So you can put it on a 2 week old, or you can put it on a 99-year-old. So
I
it's
like
all the
that.
same products.
And it's a cream. Is it a
It's a
cream?
cream. It's a cream. We have one that's a cream, one that's an ointment.
Okay. Ointment would probably be for if it was more serious, the condition.
Depends on what you like. I mean, I use the ointment. I like it.
Okay.
I think the cream is good. It's just as good, but I tend to think the ointment, I like the ointment. It's called Get Nurtured.
Now, ointment is like a gel, like
Yeah,
you
it's
think of
goopy.
Vaseline, right? Like a
It's
gel.
goopy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I'll share this with you. Once I have been using skin progress products that a lot of people use them, the different things, the retinol and hyaluronic acid, et cetera, et
Mhm.
cetera, et cetera. And I did a show with a woman scientist, and she had a very powerful career, and she's from South Africa, and now she's in Portugal. And she decided to start her own skin cream line, and using a plant that only grows in a certain section of South Africa, believe it or not. Starts with a B. I can't remember the whole name. Now, long story short, I got it. I was using it. And so I did another show with her because online, trending, where they were talking about a process called slugging. I don't know if you
Yeah,
ever.
I know slugging. Yeah, we
Slugging.
slug with what I'm talking about. We
That's
tell
right.
people to slug. Yeah.
So for those of us that did not know about it, she told me after you put your creams on, put Vaseline over your face, and that holds them in, holds the moisture, holds everything in. And
Well,
how do you
go
use
ahead.
your product? How do you use this? Okay.
Same thing where you put it on and you goop it on at night and then you go to sleep. The only thing about Vaseline, and I'm not negating what she's saying, it's
No, go ahead.
petroleum based.
No, people say that all the time. And I brought that up on the show,
Uh-huh.
and she said the aquaphora. Now, people
Oh,
think
Aquaphor.
aquaphora. Aquaphora is Vaseline. It's the same thing with a fancy name. But I will have to, I'll get back to you on what she told me about that. But it's
Yeah,
all,
let me know
yeah,
about
she
what
told
she
me
said about
something
that.
about that, and I can't remember her um, input, but it was very, it made sense what she said.
I'd like to know. So I know about slugging because about once every 6 weeks we have a mud party.
Oh,
I don't know if you know about that. So we have a mud party where people come and it's a do-it-yourself mud party. Now this isn't of interest to you, but it's mimosas and mud and salt. I know
okay. No
you
problem.
can't do that,
I
but
don't drink, no.
yeah, I know, but people come and so, they get to eat snacks, they go home with a gift. It's a lot of fun. And we have red light face masks that we put on top of the hyaluronic acid and you go in the salt.
Hmm.
So people should watch for that because it happens once every 6 weeks. We just
That
had
sounds
one.
like fun. That
Oh,
sounds
it's a
like
lot of fun. We have like
fun.
20 women or men because men come too.
Hmm.
And then you get to see the result of all these products right away on your skin, which is incredible.
Yeah, yeah,
And then we also learned, I'm going to share this with you, a
please.
thing called Yucca, Yucca. Do you know that app? You can
Um,
take
no,
take
I
that
know
app.
there's a plant called yucca. I know that, but this is a
I'm going to see if
yeah,
and you can put it up to any product that you have, and it'll tell you if it's a 1 to a 10 on being good or bad for you.
really.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And
look
it,
that up.
I
Yeah.
just got to make sure that it's is it YUKKA? Yeah, it's YUKKA, I think, or
Oh, good to know.
YUKA.
Good to know. No, I
Yeah.
would like that. I would like
It
to.
scans food and cosmetics.
Does it scan like the ingredient list on
Yep.
the, oh wow, that's amazing. So is there any case where salt therapy should be avoided completely? That it's just not good for you? Oh, see, you're thinking, so there mustn't be too many.
I know, I'm thinking, I don't
Uh,
know. I mean, maybe if you're a burn victim, I guess, it'd be very painful. Well, you said your doctor said to hold off. I've
in
had
my throat
chemotherapy
problems, yeah. Mhm.
and I've had chemotherapy and gone in there. Some doctors say don't do that, but I think it helps my immune system. So um the thing that we have to be careful of, okay, and this is our commitment to people, is like if you have COPD, okay, you've got to come in, you've got to take a hit of an inhaler, and you have to sit far away from it because it can loosen up the phlegm too much. And we don't want that. We want it to be on a slower basis. So we'll sit the person furthest away. We might, instead of 45 minutes, they stay in for 15 minutes. So it's a slower process. Because it's so effective, it could bring everything up and they can choke.
You are a very diligent, responsible person, the way you treat your clients. That I know about you, just that,
Thank you. Yeah.
because, some people that don't have the caring heart that you have, that I know you have. Oh, I got a salt therapy to make money and just shove the people in there. And no, you've done your research.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I came from the logistics and transportation industry, and I always felt like a round peg in a square hole. And this is like my calling because people feel better when they leave.
yeah,
It's 99.9%. We'll have the 0.1% or a little more than that who don't. But um, it's so great to be in something where people are happy when they leave and satisfied and feel
yeah,
better and feel better. Yeah.
absolutely. I wanted to be an English teacher, and from the time I was very young, like probably 10, 9, 10. And in my situation with my dysfunctional family,
Mhm.
and then people say, what's a functional family? Yeah, I realize that. But all my friends went to college and they didn't want me to go to college. They wanted me to stay home and work and give them money. So long
Mhm.
story short, I finally did go to college when I was a full-grown adult, single mother, 2 children, no child support. And
Mhm.
I became a teacher, not an English teacher. I became a teacher of disabled people who were in nursing homes, and I taught them
Oh,
independent living so that and I mean, they were like quadriplegics and paraplegics. They were really
wow.
limited, and the families absolutely hated me because they were worried. The clients loved me because who wants to be in a nursing home the rest of their life? And most of them were younger. And then with sobriety, I became an AA sponsor and I was able to teach recovery through the steps. Now, why I'm bringing that up is you mentioned the word mission and purpose. Guess what? I
Mhm.
did become a teacher, not an
Yeah, you
English
did.
teacher, but I
Mhm.
did become a teacher. So I totally believe that in the core, in your soul, you do have a purpose, you do have a mission. You might not know what it is, but
Right.
it will reveal itself like it
Right.
did to you. It revealed itself, what you should be doing.
Mhm.
And to me, that's everything. When somebody is doing what they've always been meant to do, but maybe didn't know it
Right.
consciously. Yeah. So
I
that's
also I also wanted to be an English teacher, Marie. You don't know that. Isn't
we
that
have
funny?
so much in common, Robyn.
Yeah. And then I became a teacher. I taught reading for
There
a
you
year.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I wound up getting into the business world. But
But now you're teaching again because you're
oh
teaching
yeah,
people healthy things.
education. Because it's all about education with the salt suite, because that's our biggest hurdle is that people don't know about it and they need to just be educated about it, and know the benefits of it to see how much it can really help. And it's so non-invasive and relaxing. So it's a great thing to try. And so people just need to be educated. And so that's what we're doing, educating people.
And I know that the room is very sterile. I
Uh-huh.
know that. And we're not allowed to bring like our cell phone in there.
Well,
You
you
have
can bring your cell
lockers.
phone.
Oh, I didn't think you could.
No, you can. As long as it's on silent and the light is not too bright. We also allow people to bring in books. We give out reading lights, and as long
Oh,
as the
okay.
lights aren't too
Sure.
bright. Um, what and some
You know.
people get concerned about the cell phone with the salt.
Mhm.
So if that's a concern, to put it in a little baggie, but we do allow that. However, okay, I'm going to say this, that when I bring my cell phone in, it's not
Mhm.
as effective for me because I'm distracted, right?
You're going to get a
Yeah,
text or something. Well, you have lockers.
we
You
have
have
lockers that
lockers.
people can
What
lock
do
their
you
stuff in.
don't need the phone, put it in the locker with your purse, your wallet, or whatever, and retreat. It's like a mini retreat, a little away from all of the craziness in the world. And there has been research to support salt therapy. Am I correct?
Yes, the National Institute of Health has many trials and studies on the efficacy of salt treatments. and the NBIC, but there are clinical trials. There could be more. Okay, we would like it, like chiropractic got covered by health insurance. We would love salt therapy to be covered by health insurance. So we just need to lobby in Washington.
I relate to that because acupuncture, well, not acupuncture, I'm correcting myself. Dry needling. You've heard of
What
dry
is it?
needling?
Oh,
It's
dry
called
needle.
dry needling. Medicare will only pay for that if it's for your low back.
Huh.
Now, I have a lot of pain in my shoulder, but it won't pay for that, but it'll pay for the low back. So, you know, that's
Huh.
push
So is
forward.
that dry needling the same thing as acupuncture?
It's not quite because with acupuncture, they go to certain spots and
Right.
they put a needle in. This, they put a needle in and they kind of move it a little bit in a certain, very gentle. And then they'll go to, you know what, it's good for the trigger points from fibromyalgia, which
Mhm.
also have, right?
Mhm.
Well, this was so good. Now, before we run out of time, I'm going to have it in my show notes, but let's tell people your website that they can.
Website is www.thesaltsuite.com.
Okay.
And then under locations, we're the Lake Worth Wellington location. People think we're downtown Lake Worth. We're not. We're
No, you're
Western
not.
Lake Worth, yeah, and
You're
Wellington.
off of it, SR7.
Right at the corner of Lantana and State Road 7.
Yes,
In front,
yes.
yeah, in front of the Super Target.
Cool. I love talking to you. This is wonderful.
Thank
And
you.
I hope some of my listeners that are local or visiting maybe come and see you and meet your lovely partner, Vinny, who's a little
Thank you. And
sweetheart.
we're open 7 days a week, so
That's
you can
fabulous.
come in anytime. And yeah, we'd love to see you. The first time is always half off, so you always get that discount.
That is wonderful. Well, thanks for coming, Miss Robyn Adams. And
Thank you for the opportunity. It was my first podcast. It was fun talking to you.
you did very well for a first
Oh, thank
podcast.
you.
I will be up to see you in a couple weeks for
Okay,
sure.
well, you
All
look
right.
great and feel better. Okay.
Thanks, Robyn. Bye-bye.